Welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. We have the Oleksandr Usyk Tyson Fury rematch coming up on Saturday. Saturday the 21st. It's now Wednesday the 18th, so it's creeping up on us, creeping. And of course, being fight week, it's always interesting to pay attention to both fighters, see what their attitudes are, see how they're doing. Are they giving anything away? How do they appear to be emotionally, physically, spiritually, mentally, And one thing that struck me was the contrast in attitudes towards their training camps in one particular respect, which is that I watched two interviews yesterday, one with Tyson Fury, one with Oleksandr Usyk. Now, Fury, when asked about his family, said, I haven't spoken to Paris, my wife, for 3 months. I haven't said a word to her, not a single word. I'm locked away. I'm training. It's not that I don't want to speak to her. It's not that I don't love her. Not that I don't love my kids. I just need to be focused. I need to be on it. I'm paraphrasing, but, it was basically what he was saying. And I haven't spoken to my wife at all. Now, contrast this with Usyk, who, when asked, said, I speak to my wife every day. I speak to my children every day. And of course, his English is not his first language, so he speaks in broken English, bit of translation thrown in. He seemed to be saying, I do this because, they inspire me. They're my inspiration. They're the most important things in my life. And, when I speak to them, I'm happy. And, this seemed to be the general vibe he was giving. And I suppose that begs the question, who's getting it right? Now, it could be that they're both getting it right, because there is no right and wrong scenario in this. There is no right or wrong choice in this scenario. So it is perfectly possible that Fury operates best when he does that, when he cuts himself off from his family and concentrates totally on his camp, on his boxing, doesn't want any distractions, has to get away. Because perhaps seeing his wife would soften him up or make him depressed, or because he wants to be home with her and the kids and all this sort of thing. And we know that before the first fight, his wife lost a baby, a stillborn baby, or was it a miscarriage? Whatever, at 6 months. And so there's all sorts of stuff going on in his head, and perhaps that's the way he handles it. That's fine. Likewise, they say a happy fighter is a dangerous fighter. They also say a happy fighter can be a complacent fighter. So in the case of Usyk, maybe he's glad, maybe it sort of focuses his mind. He thinks, okay, this is what I'm doing it for. I'm doing it for my wife, my kids, my family. Yeah, so speaking to them hones his vision. He's got his eyes on the prize when he does that, So there's no real right or wrong choice, but maybe one of them is making a mistake, perhaps, or maybe they're trying to overcompensate for a lack of confidence. Or so let's take. Now, I don't think that Usyk is in any way lacking in confidence, but is he perhaps a little bit, just a little bit complacent? And he's thinking, I beat this guy once, I beat him again. You can go through the motions and be very, very disciplined in a physical sense. You can do what you're supposed to be doing, but mentally, psychologically, you're not quite as focused as you should be. And is the fact that he's seeing his family, and I'm not saying this is the case, but is it perhaps that he's without realizing or subconsciously leaving himself ever so slightly soft, ever so slightly vulnerable? Now, the other side of the coin is Fury. Why does Fury feel he has to completely remove himself from his everyday life, from his family, from his kids, from his wife? Why does he feel he can't say a single word to his wife? Is he overcompensating? Is he maybe, I don't know, maybe he's leaving himself, maybe he is not focusing on the prize. Maybe he is, but maybe he isn't. Maybe if he did speak to his wife, it would remind him of why he boxes, of getting money for the family, and doing all the things that I mentioned about Usyk doing. Or is it because he feels this guy's got the beating of me, and I absolutely have to do everything possible to stand any kind of chance of winning. Now, again, none of these examples, I'm not saying that any of these examples I'm giving are necessarily accurate. I'm saying that they are possibilities, that it's all feasible, that it depends on the psychology of the individual fighter. Because what works for one doesn't work for another. And again, it's possible they both got it right. You know, how do we know if Usyk is being ever so slightly subconsciously complacent? How do we know if Tyson Fury is, overcompensating because he has self-doubts buried in him, which he won't admit to anyone else? We don't know whether this is the case, but this is the sort of speculation. This is what we need to try and unearth. And maybe none of it's right. Maybe they're both doing exactly what they should be doing in their own minds to focus on the job ahead. As the old saying goes, horses for courses. So I don't know. I mean, you tell me what you think. Who has come across to you as being the most genuinely confident, the most genuinely settled and serene? I don't mean when you talk about serenity, it's like there's a sort of peacefulness about you, but at the same time, you need, even if you're a fighting man, you're going to go in there and go to war and be a modern day gladiator and all those other cliches. You do need to have your mind, serene is the wrong word, but at peace, knowing what you're going to have to do, knowing what you're going to have to walk through. I'm someone who definitely think Usyk won the first fight convincingly. I don't think it should have been a split decision. I think it should have been a unanimous decision. Has that left him slightly taken his eye off the ball? Has Fury, the defeat, has that left Fury with a little bit more self-doubt than he would ever admit? I don't know. Leave your comments below. Tell me what you think. And I know this is all speculation. Again, I repeat, this is all just, we're just shooting the breeze here, or chewing the fat, or however you want to phrase it. But have a think about it, because it is very, very striking that these two men who are such polar opposites as men and fighters can, I suppose, in a sense, it's natural that they should have very different training camps, a very different attitude towards training. But let me know what you think. Comments below as usual. And please, if you're new to the channel, you can subscribe. That would be brilliant. And if you like the video, please hit the like button. But it's nearly upon us. All this pontificating, we don't have to wait for very long, do we? Because it really is coming towards us. I mean, 3 days' time. In exactly 3 days. What is it now? It's come out to 5:30 on the 18th. So, 3 days and a few hours, and it'll all be over. Comments below. I'll give them a read. Thanks a lot, and bye for now.